Hello, we're live. Well, that's just pretty horrible. I've got the sun in my eyes and now I look really weird and bad. That's not so good. That's the... Oh, I don't know if this is going to work. Okay, let's just go. The logic of biology. I'm really fascinated at the moment looking at and reading various articles from numerous individuals looking at how... Oh, that's better. The logic of the body is based around the biology of the body. And so quite often I feel that the things that we choose and the things we do are often not entirely based on biology. And there are a number of beliefs that are quite active in our world that really aren't based on the best biology. So one that I'm intrigued by is the belief that cholesterol is bad, and it's based on a premise that if we find cholesterol in arteries, then having low cholesterol has to be the answer, and not properly understanding the biology of the body, or not really looking at that as to why it would be there. I suppose you have to look at various premises or paradigms. Is the body foolish and making mistakes, or is the body clever and knows what it's doing? And the biology that I have been paying attention to would suggest that the body never makes a mistake, and that is certainly my understanding in clinical practice. Everything is logical, and if you understand the setting that the body is in, then it explains exactly what it's doing. It's not random and just doing weird things to amuse itself. It's actually trying to help us survive. So the sun is going down. I'm looking less like I've been bleached. It's very good. So I'm kind of curious to understand better how each body works and how we then optimize that person's outcomes by having a logical approach to their case. If we talk cholesterol for a brief second, it's the most important molecule the body has. It's so essential that if you don't consume it, the body makes it. There's a certain cascade of chemistry that Dr. Stephanie Seneff, who is, I'm quite in awe of her, she's quite magnificent. She's a computer science with MIT, became interested in health because her husband became unwell, and then studied biology, and now her particular interest is in big data. And so by mining public databases and using her computer skills to either look at word frequency of individuals' reports, which is an interesting area, or just basically doing lots of data and putting them through multivariate analysis and logistic regressions and various other tools, she's able to see correlations that, if they're not causative, are so associative they bear further investigation. But because she's very competent in understanding biology, there are three fabulous things that she's observing and noting that I believe are good information that I will write up in my next blog, so you can ponder over it and follow some of the links to make your own decisions. And in all of these conversations, we're always offering you information, because informed makes best choices. We're not making any statement that you should or shouldn't do anything, but if you know all the what's under all the cups, you can know which one to pick to get the dice. So her current understanding is that glyphosate, the chemical in Roundup, has a particular effect on the gut flora, which we now know is critical for brain function and body function, and the gut flora signal our own genes. So the more we think it's separate, the more it's actually inevitably bound up like a good tapestry. You just cannot unpick it. It's all connected. And so the shikimate pathway is super important, and glucoside interrupts that cascade, so you don't produce and absorb food and nutrients in the same way. It also kills the microbiome in the soil, so the plants can't fix nutrients in the same way, which actually means that the plants are less to nil for nutrition. And then it also, once the glucoside gets into our system, it actually interferes with the function of certain enzymes in the liver, and that means that the liver can't dispatch cholesterol attached to digestive salts, which its preferred method, and then that cholesterol is keeping the gut lining healthy by keeping all the cells, which are fatty layered cells, healthy and non-porous, and then the body will take the cholesterol through the gut wall appropriately with other nutrients and put it into the blood, so the body can then dispense it to where it needs to go, and primarily to the brain. The brain is, I could be wrong, but I believe 30% of the brain mass is cholesterol. So it is very important for brain health. There is some suggestion that low cholesterol and managed low cholesterol could well be associated with dementia, because you just reduce the quality of the matter of the brain. So the body's clever. It needs to get the cholesterol to its source, which is the brain. The brain really runs the body for its own purposes. We are a magnificent vehicle for the brain to get around in. And so how does it get the cholesterol out? Well, it needs to be in a transportable form, so it packages the cholesterol in low density cholesterol. And when she puts her graphs up which show the rise in the use of of Roundup, the glucoside chemical, on farming and the way it feeds into the food chain, that is in total lockstep with the rise in the values and incidence of low density cholesterol in people's blood. Now, I just love that finding, because it helps to explain why certain things are occurring at an increasing rate with the surrounding environment, and the body is always adapting to the environment because it has an imperative to survive. It's very interested in breakfast tomorrow, so whatever it does, it's doing that to get better. So it could be a flawed premise to actually interrupt the liver's production of cholesterol with a medication, because you're actually interfering with the body's ability to look after itself. So, and then the class of drugs that reduce cholesterol production are either based around water solubility or fat solubility, and when they're based around fat solubility, they now get into the brain matter quite readily, and there is definitely some statistics emerging that is a factor in a reduction in brain performance in older people. So I will write more about this. I've gone for 8 minutes, goodness only knows, and the sun's gone down, so I don't look like I've got a blowtorch on my face, which is good. So information's key. We're all about giving you information to make your best choices, because best choices give best outcomes, and it's a matter of making it individual to you and doing what's best. So I'm going to run away and do the next thing, and probably sit down at the computer later and write up a quick story for you. Okay, all the best, have a great week. Bye.